This media is brought to you by Polyscope.
In the realm of tomorrow, where techniques mind, we ponder, we dream.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on Think Future. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and once again, I'm coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. And today we have a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your organization and what you're passionate about?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me on, Chris. As you can tell by my accent, I'm Australian. I recently visited the US. I went to New Haven, Connecticut, and no one could understand me. And that was my big takeaway from visiting America.
Have you heard
at
the New
least
Haven,
initially.
Connecticut accent? I mean, the New Haven accent is crazy. I'm surprised that you could understand them.
Yeah, it was an experience. It was going from, I guess, JFK, which is looks like a complete mess, to New Haven, which is a different kind of mess. It was a whole experience. But anyway, my name is Peter Ashby-Smith. I am a Australian who blogs, has a newsletter on Substack called the Stoic Futurist, and so I've been just writing probably seriously now just this year, so like 3-4 months. Before that, kind of just stewing in the juices of the new world that we're entering into with technology and change and all that sort of stuff, and just really been inspired about what I can do around making a difference in that.
So
Yeah,
what did you do
that's
before
that's
that?
my
I
short.
mean, so are you just doing this as a side gig or is it your full-time job now?
So right now it's a side gig in the sense that I have to pay the bills. So I'm a husband of one and a father of four. So I've got
Wow,
a
congratulations.
relatively, thank you.
That's a
Yeah,
challenge.
the fourth one's in the womb currently. So it's very much
Oh, that one's no trouble
oh
yet.
gosh,
No trouble yet.
not trouble yet. But being very very male, my first reaction was I'm going to need a bigger car. Um, so
Oh,
it's all
so the
about logistics.
Escalade instead of the Telluride.
Indeed. I can't do the sedan anymore. Got to upgrade. But yeah, so my day job, I work in higher education, Australian University, and I have a range of side hustles. So this is one of them. I also do a bit of teaching on the side because I just love developing people. That's my favorite part of any job I do is seeing people, seeing the light bulbs go on and seeing people go from 0 to 1,
Nice.
zero confidence to capability. It's always been a passion of mine, and I only recently realized it, but that's how life goes, right? Outside that, I work a lot with startups. So I do a lot of mentoring for, there's one of the big accelerators in my city. And so I work with those kind of founders who usually have a brilliant idea, either a lot of technical capability or a bit of business savvy and appetite for risk. But there's a lot of gaps there. And so I work with them to develop their business model to uncover those gaps because they're often not aware of them. Try and take them from 0 to 1 as well. I really enjoy it. And maybe I'll jump on a unicorn one day. But for now, I'm just doing this, which is fun.
Very cool. So do you have a background in this type of work or did you just sort of fall into it?
Um, so. I have a misspent youth. It's not a misspent youth in the traditional sense of it. I have enough degrees to be a pretty accurate thermometer. Uh, and that's my
Excellent.
misspent youth is just, being told by my parents, you need to go to university, you need to get a degree. It doesn't matter what degree it is. It's that kind of the boomer narrative of just go get a degree. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
You'll be management material as soon as you do it.
that's right.
So I did that and voila, got a bachelor degree, multiple master's degrees. That kind of, I didn't know it at the time, but that kind of interest, because the initial degrees were around ancient history. So a lot of that interest was very much about my interest. It wasn't about career. And that's, what I guess got me started on this journey without really realizing that I was getting started on this journey. It kind of paved the foundation. But so eventually I got into the workforce, and this wonderful lady at church, she would have been at the time in her 60s, said it was an old librarian. and you're just imagining in your head, and yes, that is exactly what she looks like. Uh,
With
and
the
she said,
glasses and
yeah,
everything, right?
exactly, and just the most helpful, lovely lady you'd ever meet, but you wouldn't want her to look at you sternly, right?
Yes.
To shush you.
I can totally picture her 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I was kind of wafting around. I'd gone from like retail management, IT jobs, a whole bunch of things, and I wanted to get married. So I needed in my mind, I needed a career. And she said, I could just see you in libraries. I could just see you in an academic library doing interesting and cool stuff. And I was like, well, sounds good. So I went and got another degree, uh,
Nice.
which I'm
Library
very good at
science.
doing. Yeah, exactly. And
My son has a
it
degree
was.
he has a master's in library science as well,
Oh,
believe
cool.
it or
Yeah,
not.
my both my congratulations and condolences, because there isn't a lot of ROI on that, right? You
Yeah,
do this
exactly.
huge degree and you don't get a good wage for it, but it's something I only realized after the fact. But
Hmm.
yeah, there we go. And that
If
kind of
only
got
there were
me,
counselors to tell you that beforehand.
if only. And I'm sure there was, but I mean, I was a silly, late 20s year
Yeah.
old at the time.
Who listens to
And
anybody? You're always right. You're always right.
yeah,
Nobody
who listens to
knows.
anyone? And to be clear as well, most people don't know anything about libraries, so they would
True.
just probably give me some generic advice. So that's yeah. Regardless of my foolishness, that probably would have been the outcome anyway. Um, but that kind of got me eventually, after a few years, got me in the door of an academic library, and that's where I'm currently at right now. I am looking for a bit of a change. So I'll flag that in the sense that like a lot of these side hustles I do is pursuing other interests and really
Hmm.
enjoying that and really being curious about if that can be something for the future. Just testing, doing that kind of lean startup methodology, build, measure,
Yeah.
learn, and really yeah. So I'm looking for a change, and that's why I've done another degree. It's a master.
You're collecting them at this point. No, do you have
I'm collecting them,
full set?
but this degree I would argue is the best degree I've ever done. Just purely because not just because of the content, but the people I've been able to meet is a master of business administration, and so
Mm.
it's really finding my feet in this world of higher education leadership and really trying to figure out like, okay, well, now that I'm degreed up and and hopefully a
You
little
think
bit
you've
less
got enough
foolish.
now? You think this is the capper, or you think there might be more
People
in the
have been
future?
asking me, "Are you going to go do a PhD?" And I'm just like, I'll be in my 50s by the time I finish that at the rate I'm going. So probably not.
Which is
Like,
not bad. 50 is the new 20, right? I mean, we're all going to live to
yeah,
100,
it keeps,
so
yeah, every few years it just keeps going down. So I'll be
that's right.
immortal at the rate I'm going. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's yeah, but it's been fantastic. And that's what I've worked out is my niche is that I spent a long time learning a lot of theory, and a lot of it hasn't translated to practice, but I love the practice. I just
Mm,
love seeing the fruits of my labor. And so whatever I'm working on now, it's got to be real. It's got to
mm,
be, have an impact, a real impact on people. Like I don't want to just read books just to puff up my brain and
right.
not somehow translate that into some kind of return on investment for myself or for others. And so that's kind of why I started my Stoic Futurist newsletter is because I was reading all this stuff and I was just like, I gotta put this somewhere. I can't just leave
Hmm.
it in here and just nerd out about it all. I'm just sick of not translating what I read into outcomes.
Right.
And I had this moment at the at the gym a couple of years ago. I was talking to someone else about this the other day, where you're just bored and you're kind of sick of it listening to music and whatever. And then I just went like, look, I got this old book by this
Hmm.
guy called Epictetus sitting in my Audible
Name
library.
sounds familiar. I can't imagine.
Yeah. No, yeah, and called Enchiridion, which is a cool Greek name. Did learn a bit of Koine Greek when I was at university because degrees, uh, and yeah,
Well, ancient
and
history sets
so
you up for anything. it sets you up for anything, I think. I mean,
I
there's so
agree. I
much
think
value to something like that.
It's
Yeah.
great gen ed, great gen ed.
Mm,
So yeah, and that's I think higher education has lost a bit of that. But
mm.
in the name of getting rid of the ivory tower, it's lost a bit of that kind of refinement and critical thinking, higher order thinking, all that sort of good
Oh yeah.
stuff. But anyway, I read this. I listened to this book while I was at the gym, and I would have looked like the strangest guy at the gym because I was just like sitting there, like staring into space, just kind of being like, "Wow, like this guy." Like just the raw, compressed as well truth of just like just like zinger after zinger, one liner after one liner. Like my future self writing a letter to me. That's the sort
Mm.
of level of impact. And it's basically like giving me this framework that I basically is the summary of my entire newsletter, which is around control and how we're just so obsessed with all this external stuff that's going on in
Mm.
our world, particularly. And it's only accelerating, it's only getting worse. And whether it be misinformation, disinformation, whether it be AI, whether it be doom scrolling and social media, whatever it is, like it's bombarding us nonstop. And realizing that all that stuff is completely irrelevant and you
Oh
can
yeah.
partake in it, but you can't be ruled by it.
Hmm.
I was just like, oh yeah, that's like the most obvious take ever, but it's
Yeah.
just hit me like a truck. And so and this is all stuff I kind of already knew because I've
Yeah.
studied it, but it just never impacted me because I was a young silly guy who didn't really know what I was reading back in the day, and yeah, very very much kind of it's been ripe post COVID and post having kids and all that sort of stuff. It's been an inflection point where a whole bunch of these realizations have occurred, and this led me to kind of think like, look, that what could be more necessary in this chaotic time than steadiness and
Mm.
control and virtue in general. Like,
Yeah.
if people actually care about society, the best way they can impact society is by doing that which is good for society, right? So not going full monk mode and just opting out of everything, but actually participating, interacting, challenging some of these assumptions around technology and change and all these things. I'm very thankful for my job. I am looking to pivot again, but I am thankful for my job because I'm able to witness all this stuff in sharp relief because I'm seeing the students who are impacting, and I'm also seeing my staff who are being impacted by a lot of these issues and problems and challenges, and the fact that AI comes out with something new every single week. It's just the
Oh,
pace
it's
of change
ridiculous. There's no
is
way to keep up with
amazing.
it. I tried keeping up with it for a
Yeah,
while and I said, this is impossible. Unless it's your
yeah,
full-time, multiple, more than full-time job, it's impossible to keep up
yeah.
with everything that's going on.
You need an AI agent to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on with AI updates. Yeah, to monitor the
And then
traffic and
if
give
the AI
you.
agent misses something, then you're out of luck. So you're it's
Yeah.
not
You're
going
no
to
longer the
be.
expert anymore. You don't know anything. Even
Yeah.
Sam Altman, I'm sure, is not up to date on everything, right?
Oh, for sure. For
It
sure.
is the way it is, and
So
it's
stoicism,
mhm.
sorry, so stoicism is a real is like hot, super hot, right? So
Mhm.
what makes your take on it different from all the other all the other takes on
Yeah,
stoicism that are out there?
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Nothing I'm saying is unique. I
Really?
often say,
Wow, look at this honesty. I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to claim to be some kind of guru.
Oh, come
It's
on. Everybody claims to be a guru. You sure you don't want to do that? Wait a minute. That's part of
okay.
your
You
philosophy
you
to
can
not
clip this.
claim that you're a guru.
Okay. Okay, just
Sorry.
for the clip, I am the guru. You can clip that. Um, so I'm not the guru. But
I'll cut that part out.
sure, do it, go for it. I'm down. Um, yes, nothing I say is wholly unique. And I've often said I haven't had a unique thought in my life. Everything's some kind of synthesis. Um, if I come up with something that sounds unique, it's probably because it's the seed has been planted by a couple of different thoughts by other people,
Right.
or I've
And the
read
same
or
could be
something
said
like
about
that.
every other idea out there,
You're so
right?
nice, Chris. Stop being so nice. Just agree with me. I'm the guru.
That's right. I'm sorry. I should agree with you. You are the guru.
Yeah, I'm the guru. Um, but what I'm taking is two, disparate ideas that most people wouldn't see as being relevant at all, and trying to put them together. And so that's why I called it Stoic Futurism. I got that idea from someone else as well, so it wasn't it wasn't even me. But this idea that there's these ancient ideas that are timelessly relevant,
Hmm.
and these seeing the what's on the horizon for humanity in terms mostly in terms of technology, but I would say it intersects with psychology and just ideas of information and things like that as well. So there's a whole bunch of different applications, but it's this idea that we can have a steady, grounded, control focused approach to our lives and what we influence and us and ours, and but also have a view of the future that is optimistic, at least optimistic
Mm.
for what we can craft out of it, and that we can, on some level, direct. That we don't have to be reactive to outside events, but we can be proactive about how we deal with them. And I see that so many applications, particularly for those people I write for, which is mostly leaders who work in organizations who are seriously wondering, like, is there a job for me in the next few years?
Mm.
Or am I going to get automated out of existence? Am I going to be relevant? And they're seriously worried about this stuff. And I'd say rightly so, given all the hype that's out there.
Sure.
But just worrying about it is not going to solve anything. It's not going to empower them. And in fact, it might even make it true because they're going to be paralyzed by
Of course.
the realities of these things and not be able to act on those things. So that's the unique bit, is that I'm just taking two things and smushing them together.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, is there a specific application, like something that recently has happened that puts these together, and then you have an outcome from it that you can describe?
Um, it's a good question. I do get a lot of really positive feedback that I'm very surprised by. I don't know, maybe it's the normal experience of people who write, and then someone says, "This is amazing, thank you so much."
I know.
And I'm just
I'm
like,
constantly
okay.
I'm constantly surprised when that happens to me.
Yeah.
It's like, really? It resonated with you? I
Yeah,
can't imagine.
yeah. I mean, it shouldn't, because that's what we do and why we do it. But yeah, it's I don't know. Imposter syndrome is a real thing. So in terms of application, I I'm running a piece right now. It'll take me a couple of months to get through it, but it's on. I was reading Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power.
Ah,
I've read Machiavelli a
great
few
author.
times. Yeah, a
Mastery.
whole bunch of
Mastery is one of my
yeah,
favorite.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. That's in my list. I'm going to get to that next. And Sun Tzu's Art of War. Those kind of tests on strategy, and I see a lot of the nastiness in boardrooms. I'm exposed
Mm.
to it relatively frequently, and a lot of what I've seen that deals with that is not particularly helpful. A
Mm.
lot of it's like that you just join the game and play the game in an equally backstabbing, kind of backbiting type way.
Yeah, it feels like it's the only
But
way to play the game. It's the only way to do anything, to be on the board at
yeah,
all,
yeah,
is to join in,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and on some level, you have to be aware of the game and you have to know the rules. But you don't have to participate in the exact way they participate. It's not like Monopoly where you have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
This is a game where the rules can be rewritten,
Mm.
and you can carve your own path, and you can also refuse to play as well. So one of the applications I'm seeing there is around how do you interact with people in the workplace when the fighting over territory and ever more scarce resources and the anxiety of all these kind of external pressures are escalating is something I'm currently writing on, meditating on. I had a really great another point of application. I had a really great conversation with a woman who's working as a lawyer
Mm.
the other day, and she kind of ran into me as you do in the internet, and yeah, she's been facing a lot of these pressures in law because they're being basically pressures to automate. The Australian law firm recently boasted that they'd reduced the pressure on their kind of documentation processes by 80%.
Mm.
So they
With AI.
deployed AI. Yeah, they
Yeah.
deployed AI, and they only had to do 20% of the work. Of course, they
Mm.
would have been. charging 100% of the bill. But
Of course.
but that they were saying, oh, it's more efficient. We can do things quicker. We've got an edge over a competition. All those kind of market forces type stuff. And and so she was kind of like, well, how do I deal with this? And then she's talking about the whole profession is kind of getting rattled by this disruption, and rightly so. Like the legal profession is going to be the first thing that'll be disrupted by
Oh,
LLMs
absolutely.
in particular, because it's all about information in, information out, and advice in, advice out. So she was incredibly worried about that, and so that's another huge application of what I'm talking about here is how do we with these particularly these high risk professions, how do we help people to get on the front foot about riding the wave of change rather than being like swamped by it? What are so one of my frameworks talks about what are the skills that will be AI proof going forward, right? There's
Right.
things like that, and what are the things that will kind of get automated out of existence? And it's almost the complete inversion of what we were taught growing up, which is oh yeah, focus on execution. Go to learn to code, go do these, learn these skills, become an expert, right? I don't believe there will be as many experts in the future as there are now. There'll still be a place for them in certain
Yeah.
niches. But what's going to become more relevant going forward are what we used to call soft skills.
Hmm.
And we called them soft skills because they didn't see them as being particularly important, right? They're
Yeah.
soft. But yeah. So we moved from this idea that execution is the most valuable thing, or the process, or managing the process, or being in charge of the process, to judgment being the most important thing. Like not simply pushing buttons and understanding the entire kind of system in terms of procedures, but understanding the whole thing so you can know when something's off, when something's wrong. To be less of a photographer or a camera person and more of a director, or to
Mm.
be less of a fiddler and more of a conductor. So
Yeah.
that's the shift we're going to be seeing in the workplace. You're also going to be seeing a lot of one person businesses
Yeah.
who
Oh
are
yeah,
going to be
they're
valued at
exploding and
millions, if not hundreds.
proliferating
Yeah,
because you can
absolutely.
actually do it now. The technology is available for you to become like let's say I came up with an idea. I could vibe code it into existence in a very short period of time for very little
Yeah.
money and turn it into something real. And then if you think about the impact on the whole coding industry, it's going to be phenomenal. And so especially if you're a junior level coder, those
Mm.
jobs are going to disappear completely.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get a chance to be the fiddler because you have to train yourself to be the conductor.
Yeah, and so that's a huge issue in higher education where we're switching from, well, we're not switching, but we need to switch from this model of kind of just content people, just get them
Yeah.
to get the content and getting the skills of handling the content, and just get them doing that. So give them a textbook, learn the textbook, apply the textbook, blah blah blah, to pivoting towards more of a context-based education
Yeah.
where students are learning how to conduct, how to direct without even having experience doing that.
Hmm.
Whereas the previous workplace model was all about, no, just do the work, do the
Yep.
thing, push the button. And then if you're really good at doing that, we'll slowly move you up and then you'll get experience directing and managing. But if we're doing that right outside the gate, that changes the entire landscape of education, not just the entire landscape of work.
Oh, absolutely. And education is so far behind the curve, right? I
Oh,
mean, it's going to
monolithic.
take. How is it ever going to catch up? How is it ever going to get to a point where it can actually create effective output?
Yeah, short answer, I don't know.
Mm.
I think it'll get disrupted within an inch of its life. The universities in particular are very historically very robust, which is why they effectively haven't changed in hundreds of years. But particularly some of the large universities with their pedigree and their prestige, um, their business models are made to last. That's something I really took away from my trip to New Haven, was like just a 300-year-old business model. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And just
I don't
understanding
know. Older
exactly what they do
businesses
and how
have
they do it.
died.
They have, but 300 years is pretty good. But you're right, absolutely. Older businesses do die, and they will die. So the question is less around whether they will still be relevant and more around can they become relevant in time before
Right.
they're disrupted out of existence. With the student's ability to learn the thing independent of them, what's the value they're actually going to be providing? And I think they can provide value. I think there's it's
Oh,
definitely
absolutely.
possible to provide a greater experience than an LLM training you to do whatever the
For
task
sure.
is. But yeah, it's yeah where they will see that value coming to the fore is the big question. I've got ideas, but they'll have to come and ask me about that.
At $1,000 an hour or more.
Oh, why not? I got mouths
So
to
it's
feed.
so yeah, why not? It's time to think like a futurist. It's the year 2036, 10 years from now. Where do you think we're going
Hmm.
to be in 10 years? I mean, are we going to have AGI, or are we going to have complete disruption in every like non-blue collar category? Where do you see us in 10 years?
Good question. I was saying this to someone the other day. I don't think AGI is going to be a thing.
Mm.
It'd be funny if I get proven wrong because it's on the
No,
record
I
now.
believe you. I think
But
we're on the wrong track.
yeah,
We believe that what we're doing is going to take us to AGI, but I think it's orders of magnitude above what we're doing. We're on a
yeah,
completely different plane.
I agree. I don't think complexity equals sentience. I don't think we've seen any evidence of that. We see pretty accurate mimicry when we ask it to, but that's always us pulling the strings of
Yep.
an LLM to make it feel human or look human. Same with robotics and all that too.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're dealing with fashionable copies, which are great because you want to give the boring bits of your life to the copies and get them to do things.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely not sentience. So that's my take on AGI. I think in terms of the world in general, we're going to see capability become more commoditized in the sense that your the value of your knowledge work labor in particular will go down, and
Hmm.
so the efficiency will go up hopefully if people are reacting properly. Judgment, trust, clarity will become the scarce resources. So people who are able to correctly wield these new technologies will be in the new kind of scarce resources, the new special scarce minerals.
Right.
And the execution layer will be mostly automated. And if it's not automated, it'll be inefficient and probably not competitive. Or it'll be some kind of weird, like artisanal thing where something's handmade and everyone's like, "Ooh, that's so interesting."
That's right.
And they pay
But
a
there's only
premium
so
for
much
it
of
because it's
that, right?
handmade.
And who will be able to afford to buy those
Yeah.
things if everyone
Yeah.
else is automated out of
Yeah.
work?
Yeah. Oh, you hired an actual graphic designer to do that. Wow. Yeah, that's special.
It cost
You
me a lot
know.
of money and took me longer, but it's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah, it's the luxury brand thing,
Yep.
handmade and all that. But largely, most jobs will become very augmented.
Mm.
I had this great experience the other day with our graphic designer where she was kind of doing the standard interview. She very not an AI powered person at all, or AI augmented person at all. And I just said to her, "Look, here's something I generated in Nano Banana. This is what I'm looking for. Can you work your special graphic designer magic on it and turn it into the thing we needed?" And she was like, "Oh, thank you for giving me so much clarity on exactly what you wanted. Here's the few
Mm.
tweaks I did, and boom, boom, boom." And within the space of a few hours rather than a few days, I got what I wanted just by the LLM helping me visually articulate exactly what I wanted
I love
without
that.
her having to like firmly interview me. So we're going to see more of that. We're going to see that going to the next level where she's using tools that integrate AI with her eye for what is good in terms of
Yep.
design. And this kind of pairing of machine and human being is going to become way more common. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of disruption around technology. I think I suspect open AI won't be a thing in the future
Mm.
in 10
Really?
years.
Really?
Yeah, I think it'll be like the Netscape
Oh
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
AI future. That's
Yeah.
my prediction.
I can see
I
that.
think it'll be like, oh, I remember ChatGPT. That was so cool. I really miss ChatGPT. Um, yeah,
Nobody
or it'll be
misses
worse.
Netscape Navigator, man.
Yeah, or it'll be the Clippy of the future
Yeah,
where
yeah.
everyone's like, oh, I hate ChatGPT. That was so annoying. Got all this great other models now that are fantastic. That's kind of my opinion on the AI bubble in general. Is like, yes, it is absolutely a bubble, but it's also a technology that's going to stay
Yeah.
even after the bubble burst. Like with the dot-com bubble, the internet survived. With
Yeah.
the housing, the global financial crisis, we still live in houses. Just because something burst doesn't mean the technology all of a sudden
Yeah.
doesn't
And it's going to come,
happen
it's going to
anymore.
become so embedded, it's foundational. I mean, I think that's what happened with if you
Yeah.
think about pre-internet times, I remember pre-internet times, right? Everyone,
Mm.
the internet was a big deal. It was such a big deal that we actually had an association of internet professionals, which is
Yeah.
looking back on it, is like idiotic, right? Because it's something that has
Mm.
now weaved into our entire lives. It's become
Mm.
foundational, and AI is going to do the same thing. It'll become completely foundational. It won't be special
Yeah.
anymore to be AI. It won't, we don't even have to mention it anymore because it'll be weaved into
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, my kids are already doing that. Like I generally, for the record, I hate iPads, but they do have iPads for some of their schoolwork. And I just saw them the other day, just, playing with Legos or whatever it is they do, and just kind of forming up their Lego men in battle lines because they're boys.
Yeah,
And they'd
of
take a
course.
photo with their ChatGPT, and they'd say to ChatGPT, both of them on either side of the battlefield, give me a strategy for how to beat my brother.
Mm,
These are my troops, and
I
it
love
was,
it.
yeah,
Orchestrating
it's
already. They're already
I
conducting. It's
would,
great.
well, yeah, like my Machiavellianism's coming out on them, uh, but it's stuff I wouldn't think about doing that, and they're innovating with the technology already, and it's a normal thing for them,
Yeah.
and it's not a normal, like I'm a Xennial, so I very much grew up pre digital
Hmm.
and also post digital, so I'm kind of at this weird junction point. Um, but I truly believe with my Stoicism that, Marcus Aurelius talks about the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And
Hmm.
AI is that for most people, whether they love it or hate it. And ultimately, it's going to be there here to stay, and we're going to stumble over it. But ultimately, that's become the journey. No matter where you're headed, that impediment, that obstacle is going to build skills and change things about who you
Yeah.
are. And so why not just embrace that that's a reality in life and try and make the most of it while you can, rather than what most people in organizations are doing now, which is ignoring the issue and just hoping it goes away or that someone else deals with it.
Yeah.
So there'll be some organizations that implement AI and the new way of working effectively. A lot of them are going to be startups, the kind of startups I work with. A lot of them won't. Like a lot of the legacy monolithic organizations will either survive by the skin of their teeth and kind of do some late implementations, or they'll just be disrupted out of existence by more agile one person multi-million dollar businesses.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's ultimately the takeaway is that you want to be what Epictetus, a former slave, right? Like no man is free who is not master of himself, right?
Hmm.
And that's ultimately you in an organization, your listeners in an organization. How do you move forward? What you as master of yourself? How do you interact with this stuff? How do you deal with this stuff? Because opting out is just not going to be an option, right?
Yep.
We can't all go monk mode unless you got a farm somewhere. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
But most of us don't have a
Artisanal
farm somewhere.
eggs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely. Yeah, make money.
the beauty of it is that AI is so accessible to anybody.
Mm.
It's not like the technology of the past where you had to learn all these different languages and do all these different things to get to the level where you could work with it. It's completely accessible to anyone. So it can be learned by anyone. So the fact that no that people are just actively pushing back against it, there's no technological barrier, if you ask me. Anybody can become proficient at it if they just decide to.
Yeah, it's the printing press, right?
Yeah.
The printing, Gutenberg came out with this printing press, and all of a sudden the scribes got really angry
Yeah.
because they would spend months on their manuscripts and whatever. The gorgeous manuscripts, like for real,
Oh,
amazing.
beautiful.
But all of a sudden, someone who was unqualified, who didn't deserve the platform to interact with this technology, was able to print, in their idea slop, which is it's the exact thing with AI, except it's
Human
going to be
slop.
even bigger. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's going to be even bigger than the printing press, though, because this is going to not only change how information is distributed, but how we work with information, how we execute on tasks and things like that. So, yeah, it's a lot of people call it a new industrial revolution. I don't think they're wrong, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to hit customers as well, like in this sense that there's going to be a lot more noise, a lot more choice. They're going to have to develop more trust filters around information because it's just going to be like slop is going to be magnified, both inputs, outputs. And so the authority is really around information and how you curate yourself and your feed and all that and any products you buy is all going to shift towards being an interpreter of these things or having the right perspective on these things. Most people don't even read the back of the food they buy, right? They don't,
Yeah, you're right.
Read what's going into them. All right. And so they're going to have to start doing that. Like that's the world we're going to be in. It's going to be counterfeits galore. And you're going to have to participate in being a person of knowledge.
It's almost like you need your own personal AI to be able to figure it out for you and tell you this is legitimate, this isn't legitimate. We're heading there.
That's okay if that's you directing the AI. But how a lot of people are using it is they're outsourcing their thinking, and that's the big problem with AI. Is if you cease to be the judge and jury of these things, and it's doing everything, including judge, jury, and execution for you. My word, your brain's not working, and you will be replaced in some kind of way. And I don't mean that in a dark sci-fi kind of sense, but in a sense that your skills won't be relevant, right?
Yeah,
you won't bring
exactly.
anything to the table. They can just AI agent you out of existence because that's how you've outsourced your entire life. You need to run the tool rather than the tool run you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much. If someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Just the Stoic Futurist on Substack is probably the easiest way. I'm always down to be added on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, just look me up, Peter Ashby-Smith or the Stoic Futurist. Yeah, always down for a chat.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much. This has been great. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Pixels and philosophies merge and mold, a future untold, unseen.